Hey, welcome everyone to yet another SMT V video. This one will be a bit special. We'll be talking about the sales potential of the upcoming SMT game. If you want to stay up to date on anything SMT, Persona, or Atlus, I do a lot of videos on the channel and I will do more videos about it in the future, so don't hesitate to click that subscribe button. Now, I have a lot to say on this one, so let's get right into it. On this video, I will talk about SMT V and how I think Atlus has a major hits in their hands with this particular game. What I mean by that is that Megaton has always been a franchise with a cult following, a lot of fans that are really invested in the franchise, but it has never been a major title that sells a lot of copies with every release, like something like Dragon Quest or something like Zelda, Mario, and the big names that we hear very often, for example. But I have a few reasons why I think SMT V might just change that, or at least might not be as big as the titles that I previously mentioned, but it has the power and the potential to be one of Nintendo Switch's more successful RPG and one of Atlus's more successful game as well. We will start by looking at the sales of the Shin Megami Tensei games that came out previously. In 2017 Sega's annual sales report, we can see a bunch of interesting numbers that the series sold over 7.2 million units worldwide since its release in 1987. Now if we look at a newer Atlus franchise, Persona, the series sold 8.5 million units worldwide since its launch in 1996. And the interesting thing here is that we knew at that point that Persona 5 sold over 2 million copies and was a major success for Atlus. So you can see that both franchises, SMT sold a bit less than Persona, even if it's older. But I want to specify here, it's the P5 sales that are interesting here, since the last game in the Persona franchise sold over 2 million copies, which is a major hit for Atlus. What does that mean for SMT V, you'll ask me? It's simple. Persona is, or at least was, initially a spin-off of Shin Megami Tensei. Now SMT is not in the name anymore. It's not Shin Megami Tensei Persona as it used to be. But there's a ton of newcomers that discovered the Persona franchise with Persona 5. And we can definitely assume that a certain number of them dug a bit deeper and found out about SMT V because of the popularity of P5. Because they liked P5 and they thought it was a cool game. They wanted to see more. They probably looked at the other Persona games, but they probably also found out that Persona came from SMT, so they might have looked into SMT as well. Hell, I can even see a bunch of people right here on YouTube and even on some of my own videos tell me that they have never played an SMT game before, but because they played P5, because they played Persona, they're really hyped for the next installment in the Shin Megami Tensei franchise, and they tell me that they want to try it out. I'm sure that the spike in popularity of the Persona games will bring a lot of attention to SMT V, and that's a good thing. So I really don't think that Persona killed SMT, like it used to be a subject that people were talking about in the community when we were not certain if SMT V was cancelled or not. But at this point, no, I think it's only a good thing, and I think Persona will bring more fans to the SMT franchise, which feels a bit weird to say since it was initially a spin-off. Another reason why I think SMT V has a lot of potential to do extremely well is that the game will be releasing in the next few years on the Nintendo Switch, an hybrid system that already shipped close to 60 million units worldwide on the day of recording this video. It keeps selling a lot and topping the charts every single week in 2020. Now, if you watched my last video on SMT V, you know my opinion. You know that I don't think that we will see SMT V releasing before a minimum of 2 years from now, unfortunately. So, but the good thing is that means that the install base for the Nintendo Switch will be even bigger, and that the next major title from Atlus, SMT V, will release on a major install base that will be the Switch. Another quick thing that we can look at, the 3DS. There's two interesting things that would be worth looking at in the context of this video. First up would be the number of Shin Megami Tensei games and ports that are present on this console. On the 3DS, we got ports such as Devil Summoner Soul Hackers, which I'm currently playing, by the way, and I'm working on my review. There's also Strange Journey Redux, Devil Survivor Overclocked, Devil Survivor 2 Record Breaker as well that we got. And of course, there's the two new titles, SMT 4 and SMT 4 Apocalypse. The fact that there's all those games on the 3DS, JRPG fans that have a 3DS probably have played or at least have heard some of those games, so they heard the SMT name. It doesn't matter that those games are only ports. They still heard the name, they still know what SMT is at this point, since there's again a big install base on the 3DS. And the next thing that I think is interesting on that front is that all those games were brought to the 2DS and most of them sold pretty well, especially SMT 4. Since in 2015, 2 years after the game was initially released, Atlus Japan tweeted that the game sold over 600,000 copies and that they were really happy with the sales of it. What I want to get at is that the 3DS has a major install base, as I said, and a bunch of people were introduced to Shin Megami Tensei that were not yet part of the Megaton community. For all the reasons that I mentioned in this video, I really feel like SMT 5 has the potential to be a major hit for Atlus on the Nintendo Switch. Hopefully, Atlus will keep up the work with SMT and bring new releases and older releases by remastering the games on current gen platforms. That would be awesome. Thank you very much for listening to me. I just wanted to do a quick talk about SMT and Shin Megami Tensei V in particular. If you liked what you heard, if you liked what you saw, don't hesitate to click that like button. It really helps to support the channel. And as mentioned previously, if you want to stay up to date on anything SMT, Atlus, Persona, don't hesitate to click that subscribe button for more content on the upcoming game. I will cover everything SMT on the channel, SMT 5 at least, so every new trailer, every new teaser, announcements, trailers, I'll be looking at in details. Thank you very much for your time, guys.